Let's talk Brock Purdy. I know he didn't practice today. I have a question for you guys. How many teams, let's say the Niners decided today that they don't want to pay Brock Purdy $55 million a year. How many teams would want to trade for him if he were available? Because trading for him involves giving up a first-round pick, right? And paying him a hell of a lot of money in the future. Who wants to do that? What team? Not the Bears, right? They just drafted a quarterback. Not the Vikings. They just drafted a quarterback. Not the Packers. They have their quarterback. Would the Lions do it? They already have a quarterback. Like, what team would just completely scrap their quarterback room, guy they drafted, guy they paid, so they could trade for Brock and pay him? Okay, that's just a rhetorical question. Here's another way to look at Brock. Brock's a lot of fun to watch. Brock is objectively better than Jimmy Garoppolo just based on the eye test alone. Harder worker, more mobile. So the eye test favors Brock, although the eye test also shows you that he doesn't have a strong arm. And he's kind of small. But what doesn't really serve Brock at all are his stats. And I know that sounds stupid, like his stats are great. So are Jimmy's. The basic stats, the advanced stats, the EPA, the blah, 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 blah. Jimmy had it all. You know he did. This is what a lot of Niner fans and most Brock Purdy fans won't talk about. Jimmy Garoppolo. His numbers were incredible. His win-loss record was just as good, if not better than Brock's this early in their career. Jimmy was 18-3 after 21 starts. Brock 17-4. Jimmy had great numbers too. It's just that Jimmy didn't have McCaffrey. He played with McCaffrey for a month. Brock plays on an objectively better team. Now, he's better than Jimmy. But the question is, how much? Because Jimmy isn't even a top 30 quarterback in the NFL. Not a top 32 quarterback in the NFL. For a time, I'm thinking 2019 when he was riding the Niners' coattails to a Super Bowl. Did I phrase that well? A lot of Niner fans thought he was a top 10 quarterback in the league. A lot of people said he was better than Kirk Cousins. He's not. I know one person on the beat who's a big fan of Microsoft Excel who would frequently tweet about how much better Jimmy Garoppolo was than Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers. That all happened. And there were stats and numbers to back it up. Any stats you wanted. Advanced stat, regular stat, win-loss. It all showed that Jimmy was great. But he wasn't. All you had to do was look. And then he went to the Raiders, and he didn't just disappoint. He crashed and burned. He got benched quickly and jettisoned, and now he's a backup on a team that isn't giving him an opportunity to compete for the job. He's just a backup. He could be out of the league in a year or two if he loses interest. That happened fast. I'm not saying Brock's on that level. He's clearly better than Jimmy. But how much? Is Brock really a top 10 quarterback? Really? Is he really better than Jordan Love? You're telling me if you put Jordan Love on the 49ers, his numbers wouldn't drastically improve? Any quarterback's numbers on the Niners would drastically improve. You know why? Because the system is so quarterback friendly. Kyle doesn't ask his quarterbacks to do anything difficult. Nothing. All the throws are short. All the throws are open. All the players are really good who catch the ball and they get yards after the catch. All you have to do is avoid a few sacks and get the ball out semi-quickly and execute. And you'll put up great numbers. So I don't think Brock's numbers are... you got to trust your eyes. What would Brock do on the Raiders? If you just took him off the Niners and put him on the Raiders, would he be winning? Would his numbers be good? Would he be a Pro Bowler? No. So is he worth $55 million a year? No, he's not. And I'm going to tell you something. Once the Niners give him that contract, that's the beginning of the end of this dynasty. They're not even a dynasty. But once they give him that contract, that's the beginning of the end of this run. You can't give that kind of a contract to a player who's arguably top 20 in the league at quarterback. Arguably. You're telling me if you put Baker Mayfield on the Niners, he wouldn't light it up? He would. He absolutely would. You know who else would? Geno Smith would light it up on the Niners. Dak Prescott would light it up on the Niners. You know they would. You know in your little hearts that they would. You may have a big heart. I'm the one with the little heart. Other quarterbacks who would light it the hell up on the 49ers. Let me think. Kyler. My God. Can you imagine Kyler Murray on the 49ers? Stafford. Gardner Minshew. Imagine Gardner Minshew on the 49ers. He would light it the hell up, and he's not good. Just keep that in mind. Yeah, Brock Purdy's better than Gardner Minshew. But how much? We'll find out this year. I think. Did I upset you with that little tirade? I may have. I'm sorry. I take it back. I don't. I'm standing by it. I'm standing on business this time around. Brother Bob says, how long before Staley is on the sidelines calling plays? I give it by the bye week. Over under the bye week. Niners rule. Grant, you started the show talking about being in the club. It looks like you're about to hit the club, or is it just me? Bum, 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 bum. Hey, I don't know. How's it go? What is love? That's what I'm going for. The Chris Kattan look. Joshua Tints NBA says Jimmy got paid. Brock deserves it more, period. Okay, cool. Brock will get paid. Do you think paying Jimmy was a good idea? Brother Bob says Microsoft Excel and EPA fan. Haha, you wild, bro. So I had to do it. That happened. People really forget the Jimmy Garoppolo era. It was wild. It lasted a long time. It wasn't that long ago. And a lot of people unironically said he was an elite quarterback. And used stats to prove it. And wrote long pieces about it. Better than Aaron Rodgers. More yards per, better EPA. So don't use those numbers. Don't use any of that to argue that Brock Purdy's better than Justin Herbert or Jordan Love. Like, no. Absolutely not. He's better than Jimmy Garoppolo. I'll go that far.